This is Ashley Pirelli's car. It's getting towed by detectives in Filicide, Missouri, after she told them her daughter's lifeless body was inside. Ashley had no expression on her face, as if she'd blocked herself from feeling anything about it. To the detectives' horror, she was telling the truth, and that was not all.
A growing memorial in Festus for two children investigators say died at the hands of their mother.
Ashley did not just take the life of her daughter that day, but of her baby boy too. He had not even learned to talk or started kindergarten yet. What on earth possessed Ashley to do the unthinkable at the end of May 2024? How is her case progressing at the moment, and is this tragic case similar to any others? Let's dive into the story of the mother who killed her two babies and brought one to the police station. Picture this, it's a brisk but sunny Tuesday morning on May 28, 2024. The sun is rising over Filicide, Missouri. People are going about their day unaware of the horror that's about to unfold. A 36-year-old woman named Ashley Pirelli drives up to the Festus Pie. She walks into the station, her clothes soaked and looking a bit disheveled. The officers on duty notice her, but nothing seems particularly alarming at first glance. Perhaps she'd had a little accident. Her expression doesn't reveal the gravity of what just happened. Then Ashley drops a bombshell. She calmly tells the officers that she has just unalived her two children. Her daughter, 9-year-old Scarlett, is in the trunk of her SUV right outside. The officers rush to the vehicle and find Scarlett lifeless with several gunshot wounds. They tried desperately to save her, but it's too late. The little girl is pronounced dead on the spot.
Immediately went to the parking lot, identified and located a 9-year-old female victim with a gunshot wound, and attempted life-saving measures, but were unable to successfully save the 9-year-old.
Imagine being one of those officers. You walk out to the parking lot, heart-pounding, hoping it's all just a terrible misunderstanding. But as you open the trunk, the horrifying truth stares back at you. A young girl, lifeless and cold, a victim of an unthinkable act. The scene is surreal, almost like a nightmare.
I spoke with one of the officers guarding the crime scene out here earlier, and he said, "Sheriff, this was a tough one."
Officers deal with a lot of tough situations on a daily basis, but few officers go through things as rough as this one. This day would haunt them forever. But the nightmare doesn't end there. Ashley tells them that her 2-year-old son Isaac is also dead. His body is at Timber Creek Resort, a place south of Filicide. Authorities RAC to the resort, where they find Isaac's tiny body in a pool. He had drowned. First responders perform CPR, but once again it's too late. Both children are gone.
Documents say video footage near a lake or pond in St. Francis County from a nearby camera showed her vehicle in the area, and witnesses heard a gunshot. Authorities say she drowned her son at Timber Creek Resort.
A little boy, just 2 years old, lying motionless in a pool. The scene is heart-wrenching. Lifeguards and paramedics train Ed to save lives, find themselves powerless against the finality of death. Despite their best efforts, Isaac could not be revived. The news spreads like wildfire through the small community of Filicide.
In local news, the 36-year-old Jefferson County mother who told police she killed her two children on Tuesday was expected to appear in court this afternoon.
Neighbors, friends, and even strangers are left in shock and disbelief. How could a mother do this? What could drive someone to such a dark place? Questions swirl, but answers are hard to come by.
Parmalee went to the Festus Police Department and told officers there that she had shot her 9-year-old daughter, Scarlett, and drowned her 2-year-old son, Isaac. Festus police immediately went outside to the mother's SUV, where they found her 9-year-old daughter suffering from a gunshot wound.
Ashley Pirelli is arrested on the spot. She faces first-degree murder charges for both children. The legal process begins. But for many, the question remains, why did she do this? What could drive a mother to such a dark place? The town grapples with the horror of the event, trying to find meaning in a senseless act.
We start with breaking news. Just about 30 minutes ago, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office charged that mother with second-degree murder.
The shockwaves quickly extended beyond Filicide. News outlets across the country picked up the story. It's a headline that grabs attention. Mother confesses to killing her two children. People everywhere are horrified and saddened. Social media buzzes with reactions: disbelief, anger, sorrow. In late May 2024, the Festus station became a gathering point for grief-stricken residents. They left flowers, teddy bears, and notes of condolence. Vigils were held at the resort too, candles flickering in the night as the community came together to mourn.
There's a memorial set up for the 2-year-old outside of the Timber Creek Resort. Police say she drowned him at the resort after shooting Scarlett.
Moments like these are a time of collective sorrow, a moment to support one another in the face of unimaginable tragedy. But the Festus station was also where the detectives struggled to break down what happened that day and why. Ashley started with Scarlett early that morning. She drove to a secluded spot near a lake or pond in St. Francis County. There she pulled out a firearm and fired into Scarlett point blank. Witnesses later reported hearing the gunshots, and surveillance footage shows Ashley's car in the area around that time with Scarlett already dead. Ashley headed to Timber Creek Resort. At this point, reportedly, her son was crying hard. He had just witnessed his mother take the life of his sister. You guys, I cannot even imagine what little Isaac must have felt in that moment. The pain, confusion, and panic are unimaginable. This was his mother, the one who was supposed to love and protect him and Scarlett at all costs. Instead, Ashley walked into a resort's garden and drowned Isaac in a fountain pool at the Timber Creek Resort. She held him underwater for 4 to 5 minutes, she told detectives, once again with a blank expression on her face. The detectives could only think of those 20 minutes Ashley spent driving from the pond to the resort. What goes through a person's mind at such a time? Is it guilt, fear, or a numbing detachment from reality? These are questions that may never have answers. After committing these horrendous acts, Ashley drove back to Filicide with Scarlett's body in the trunk. The sight that met the officers at the station is the one that they will never forget.
The Sheriff's Office immediately dispatched our mental health and crisis response team, along with chaplains, to both support those officers and all the other first responders that were negatively impacted by this, and will continue for some time.
The community is left reeling, struggling to comprehend the enormity of what has happened. How does a small town process such a brutal and personal loss? It's a collective trauma that will linger for years. Ashley Parmelli is now in custody, and the legal machinery is slowly beginning to turn. Media is swarming the Filicide station, hungry for details. Reporters stand outside, microphones ready, broadcasting the grim news to a stunned public. Inside, officers and detectives work tirelessly, piecing together the events of the day, trying to find some semblance of logic in an illogical act.
There's the likelihood that everything occurred there, which is why I wanted to share it with you. But we have a long way to go in terms of the investigation.
The evidence is damning: witnesses' video footage, and most incriminating, her own confession. Yet as the facts come to light, they bring no comfort. The stark reality is that 2 innocent children are dead, and a community is left to grapple with the why. At the beginning of June, one word came out in some sources: sacrifice. Reportedly, Ashley viewed the unnailing of her children as a sacrifice. However, a fuller explanation has not been released to the public, and it's unknown exactly what she meant by that. What's even more confusing, Ashley had no history of severe mental illness or significant criminal activity. Her social media profiles, now scrutinized by the public, show a seemingly normal life: pictures of happy moments with her children, posts about everyday events, nothing to suggest the horror that was to come. The community's reaction is a mix of grief and anger. Vigils are held for Scarlett and Isaac, where people gather to mourn and seek solace.
A growing memorial in Festus for 2 children investigators say died at the hands of their mother.
Kelly, that's right. People have been, the vigil here, the memorial, has been growing throughout the entire day as people from the community continue to stop by to pay their respects. One mom told me that she has children the ages of 9-year-old Scarlett and 2-year-old Isaac and can't imagine what these families must be going through. Another woman told me that she was Scarlett's gymnastics coach.
In the midst of this, Ashley sits in jail awaiting her fate. The legal process will be long and complex, but one thing is clear: there will be no easy answers. The tragic deaths of Scarlett and Isaac have left a permanent scar on the community of Filicide, a reminder of the fragility of life and the darkness that can lurk in the most unexpected places. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. What are your thoughts on this case? Do you know other similar stories we haven't mentioned? Let me know in a comment. And before you leave, you know the drill: like, subscribe, and hit that bell button. Alright, see you soon. Stay safe.